started on everything else, hold on one sec. I just got to do one thing, but I wanted to wait till we were on camera to do this. Welcome back to What We Learned This Week.
What's going on?
I don't remember what episode we're on. We've finally gotten to a point now where... Is it 8?
I think so.
I was 7 or 8. We've finally gotten to a point now where I can't remember what episode we're on anymore, which is great. It's a good...
Starting early, man.
Just getting her going, you know? So before we get started on everything else, hold on one sec. I just got to do one thing, but I wanted to wait till we were on camera to do this.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Boom.
Got 3
189,
more.
baby.
Yeah, baby.
We got 3. Yeah, I before we record every week, I hop on here and I hop onto our YouTube channel just to see where we're at, with our likes from the last video and everything like that, check comments, and then I see our subscribers, and I was like, holy shit, we bumped up by 3. I couldn't believe it. I love it. So now that that's all done, welcome back. What we learned this week. Damn it. Hold on. Let me start that over. Wow, we haven't done it, and it's only been a week. Oh, and he drops, and he's gone. Took you long enough. Finally dropped out.
All right, let's restart. The phone was just like, yeah, fuck it, we're restarting.
There you go. All right, now that we're back, that's cool, because I'll just use that as a cut. So now that we got the numbers out of the way, Drake's technical malfunction is hopefully figured out.
We're back at
it. Welcome back. What we learned this week. Hit it, don't quit it. Hit it past to your friends. Don't hide your kids. Don't hide your wives, because we out here. We're making great content. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/WWLTW podcast. If you're a broke bitch, can't afford it, that's okay. We still love you. You're lower on the totem pole, but we still love you. You're still on the totem pole, so, it's not like we just booted you off, so... Unless you didn't subscribe either. If you're a non-subscriber, you're not on our Patreon, and you haven't even liked the episode, now you're kicked off the totem pole.
Now you're done.
Get out of here. Get out of here. So you got to at least subscribe to our YouTube channel to reserve your spot on the totem pole. So don't forget that.
Shit or get off the pot.
Shit or get off the spot. This episode is brought to you by JD Creations LLC and nobody else, because we lost our sponsors, because we stopped the show, and now we're back, loving it and living La Vida Loca. Last but not least, #WSS.
Yeah, man.
Nailed it. Speaking of which, Walker he's going to come back. I know we keep teasing you guys over this, but he is eventually going to be back on the show. We just don't know when yet, but he will be back.
Yeah, he will.
So anyways, Drake, how you been? How was your week? I know we're a little late
good, man.
Oh, yeah. I know we're late on this week's episode, too. We're sorry about that, but, we're busy. We're busy, man. We have lives, okay?
Yeah.
Damn.
Shit's going crazy, man. We're in full effect.
People. Yeah, exactly. So, how was your week, bud?
We're not that important. No, it's it was good, man. It was good. Just pretty productive. Work was pretty fucking straightforward. The little guy's been doing pretty good. He's he's staying well learned. And I've been learning a lot as a puppy dad. Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing real good, man. Learning a lot more, a lot of patience.
You learn from him, he learns from you. It's a whole cycle,
It's a mutual thing. I feel like there's a little less patience on his end. It's just trial and error. But for me, he's definitely getting there.
Nice.
But, yeah, no, dude, the week's been great. How about you, man? How was your week?
It's good. It's busy week as always. It's just part of the process. Go
from 9 to 5 to 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. On the grind. Snagged a couple more clients this week, which is great. We've got a shitload of meetings lined up for next week.
Nice.
And hopefully gonna add some more people to the team here soon. As far as helping out with growing the company. So
nice. Fuck
updates on that coming. So
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
it's been fun. Yeah, it's been a good week of growth, good week of busyness, which is nice. Nice to get back in
Good.
that mode after being March was kind of a cluster just because we were
Oh
gone and
yeah.
everything like that. So it's
Oh yeah.
nice to be back in it. It feels like normal now.
Full effect.
But yeah, for sure, man.
No, it's awesome.
So first, oh, go ahead. No, what were you saying?
No. I was just saying that's awesome. That there,
Yeah,
you got stuff that's steady.
yeah, it's been nice. So anyways, first thing on the docket here. So this is funny. Last week we had talked about the inverted glasses
Yeah.
the experiment, right? And that was crazy. And just funny enough, so I've started listening to, just like on drives to work, like to like shoots and everything like that, or meetings. I've been doing audiobook summaries. So
Oh hell
like
yeah.
just on YouTube, just going through a summary of like, the hit points for these certain audiobooks. Just ones that I'm like, hey, I have kind of an interest in the audiobook, but like I know I'm not gonna have enough time to actually read it. So like, let me just get the bullet points of it real quick and see if it's worth it, right? You know what I mean? Just so
Right.
I don't waste my time.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that. And funny enough, as like a day or two after the episode that me and you recorded, I had listened to this this audiobook excerpt, and I'm mad because I don't remember the name of it. And I did at the I was like, I gotta remember the name of this audiobook, and then I just fucking lost it. But in the audiobook, they talked about I don't know what the technical term is for it, but it's basically like organ memory. So they were kind of talking about, it was like a self growth book kind of thing. And so they were talking about the subconscious mind and how, it's more powerful than, people believe it is, and how, you have a million thoughts in a day, but you really only comprehend, a couple thousand of them, right? Because like
For sure.
some of the thoughts that subconsciously happen are breathing, and it's just stuff that you don't think about, right? And
Yeah,
so they
most
were talking
definitely.
about like tapping into the subconscious mind, all that stuff, right? But they were talking about, they just like had brought up examples about how the subconscious mind can get, have memories that, like we just don't fully understand the capability of the human mind, right?
For sure.
And so they brought up two examples of organ donors, and one of them was this lady. She was like, I think she was like 30s, 40-year-old. She was a little. I think she was 40s, 50s, and she had gotten a transplant. I think it was a heart transplant. And after she got the transplant, she had noted that she had been craving like beers and like really greasy food and all this shit. And she's like, I've never, she was like, I eat healthy. Like, I don't know why I'm craving this. Come to find out, the organ donor that she got it from was like a college-aged dude. And like all the foods she fell in love with were like his favorite foods.
Oh, fuck.
Right? So it's like this whole like organ memory kind of thing that people are trying to figure out, like, is this real, or is it like retained info that she maybe her subconscious learned throughout the process of like being in the hospital, that she had just subconsciously heard people talking about it. It's just like trying to learn that. So there's stories that could be, like a lot of these stories that we get about the organ memory, a lot of them could be technically explained away by subconscious memory retention from, being in the hospital and overhearing that, all this stuff, different stuff, right?
All the variables that go into your environment and everything else.
Exactly. But then they bring up this second case, and I have done, I've only found a little bit of research on this case, but this one it cannot be explained away by these different factors. And so it really pulls to the forefront like the organ memory and like how the subconscious works, right? So this little girl, I think it said she was like 8 years old, had gotten a heart transplant.
Right.
And after she got the transplant, she started having night terrors. And like night terrors about like being stabbed to death.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And could like vividly picture the person stabbing her. And so after a while of it happening, they went and saw the doctors or whatever. And the person whose heart she got was a young girl who had been violently stabbed to death. So that part, you could think, okay, maybe her brain subconsciously heard that, like in the hospital they had said it, right? Like maybe. The part that can't be explained is that they then made her work with a police sketch artist, sketched the person that she saw in the dream. They found the man, and he was charged with the crime. I couldn't fucking believe it when I heard the story. I was like, what? I'm sorry, what? So I just had to,
and how do you bring that to the fucking court case or like
Dude,
even the proceedings
right?
for arrest and be like, this is the guy. Well, an 8-year-old described him, but this is the guy. And then
so I think that after she had like and again I could only find a little bit of research on this story.
Right.
Like after I did very brief like researching on it. So excuse me for not being, that's us on the show. We don't research too far. We research just enough to not sound completely terrible. But we always get stuff wrong, right? So correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe that like, obviously after they had found him and questioned the man, there was like evidence linking him to this crime. Like very clear evidence that they found later on that linked him to this crime. So like,
holy shit.
But my question, how do you get the warrant to search all of his shit?
Yeah. How do you go about it?
Hey, judge, I got this 8-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She thinks this guy killed her organ donor. I don't know. Can we let's get a search warrant for this place,
That's fucking, that's wonky, man. I think I've heard something along the same lines as that, at least within like that same thought, or like theory, is like gene-based skill transfer. Yeah.
Oh, so like,
yeah, to where like there's people, they see a lot within like older years and years and years ago. They found a lot in Tibetan temples where it was like multiple generations of people that were participating in like training or like anything like that, where like they devote themselves to these temples for like martial arts or like spirituality or whatever the case may be. A lot of times both coupled in the same thing. But they found through a lot of like the different studies and stuff that the monks had done within their own time, in their own, like generations of teachers and stuff as they moved through the school and everything else, that when it came to like generational participants of like their father went or their grandfather went, and then their father became, a monk, and then the son wanted to follow in the footsteps of the family tradition and started participating, that these concepts or these like even meditation, like they're skills that you hone over time. Like you don't just automatically know how to do these things, especially with like martial arts and stuff. Like what's that proverb where it's like, don't fear the man who throws 1,000 punches, fear the man who practiced one punch 1,000 times. Right. So I'm sure I botched that. No,
I think that was pretty accurate.
But that concept, like that has been proven to be passed down through generations. Like it becomes a part of like this skill set that somehow through your genealogy gets transferred down, to where you're a little bit more keen on certain things. Like there was, especially with like physicality stuff. So like, muscle and tendon elasticity, because of the previous generation studying so heavily on being flexible and, being able to touch their nose to the ground in a split position for years and years and years and maintaining that flexibility. When their kids pop out, like there's this natural, almost like on an evolutionary standpoint. Yeah. Where like they're super, super, like they're able to do that with no problem, like in comparison to a lot of their other students.
Right. And I think, obviously that, you think about it now. So like, yeah, you could debate that, I guess, of like, oh,
for sure.
Like there could be debate for that, but really, if you think about it, because there are people, cell memory and organ memory is not like maybe cell memory is, but I know that organ memory is obviously it's still a debated topic, right? There's a lot of people, like there's just not enough evidence to state that yes, organs retain memory, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about it, in some core aspect of our body, besides our brain, something has to be retaining memory, because that's the only way that evolution can happen.
Oh yeah.
Right? So people, like they're saying now that kids being born now are being born without wisdom teeth. Yeah. Right? So that's clearly a cell memory. Somewhere something is retaining the memory, like, hey, these are getting removed, or we're not using them in our natural diet anymore. So when I go to pass this down, we're just going to take that part out, right? So something has to be retaining that memory. It can't just not know. You know what I mean? Like that's,
dude. And like, that, especially, I had no idea about the wisdom teeth, but that immediately made me think of the tendon thing. So, like our generation's
the one
kids,
in your arm?
Yeah, in the forearm.
Yeah.
So there's kids now,
you got it?
like our generation and the generation after us,
Oh, you can't see
Oh
it, but
yeah,
I got mine.
thing. Yeah.
I
So
got
like
it there.
that fucking little tendon. So yeah, there's kids being born without that fucking tendon attached because it's just meant strictly for grip strength and like increasing that
Weak
that shit.
bitches.
We're not climbing from trees anymore. We're not
Weak
fucking.
bitches ain't got no arm strength no more.
Yeah,
Know what
they
I'm
ain't got
saying?
no
We out here,
tendons.
hey, how you gonna do deadlifts? You ain't got no good tendons anymore, all right?
We're just gonna use a
Well,
wrist wrap, you
you know
fucking
that?
pussy.
Yeah, you pussies, don't ever
Put on this
forget it.
fucking bitch gloves.
The last hard generation, we got
It's
that tendon.
But yeah, dude, it's crazy shit, man. It's crazy witnessing, these little bits and pieces, the changes that are happening in just fucking, 10, 15 years span of just like our bodies in general.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing being able to witness these things and then have it be like cataloged and witnessed and studied to where, it's not like it's going to be, 50 years from now, somebody's going to be like, oh yeah, this is probably why they did this or why their body's shaped this way. It's like, no, we're actively seeing it happen over time, which is fantastic.
Right.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy to think. So, like, how long, is there and I don't know, but is there a base timeline for how often evolutionary changes occur within a species, right? Because you could claim that, like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, like, do you think it has something to do about repetition?
Yeah,
like
I mean, maybe
you're exposed to
I don't know.
enough.
Right. But like, back on the wisdom teeth part, right? So.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, it's the same thing. So like, is there a time? Because in school you're taught that there's like it's millions of years for evolutionary traits to occur, right?
Yeah.
But the wisdom teeth thing could technically counteract that because millions of years ago, they may have still been like people weren't going to a dentist and getting wisdom teeth removed a million years ago. So was that, is that the timeline, or are we seeing like rapid evolutionary changes now? And is that play into, what causes that? What, is it like you said, is it repetition that speeds that up? Is it, the technology that we've curated over the last 200 years, is that what has caused this rapid change of what are we going to look like in the next 100 years kind of thing?
Sure. Yeah,
it's wild.
It's definitely with it being such an impactful like environmental I guess like effect, like I'm sure that has so much to do with it too. I mean, like there's people that just have thicker webbing because they're in more of like aquatic areas, or like a couple of generations beforehand, like they'd swim out into the fucking ocean or into lakes and stuff to go fishing or like to collect things out of the reefs. Like you naturally have these effects on like your anatomy, to benefit you if it's a consistent exposure through time. And that concept just blows my mind. Like I feel like there's so much that we have to learn about just like the evolutionary standard, because I just don't know enough personally. Like I don't know enough about like the variables that go into it, that make those critical left or right movements as far as like our bodies and what we pass forward to, the next generations as they're growing and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have no idea. It's just wild to like hear like how much we still don't know about ourselves.
Yeah, to think that we're
gonna end up destroying our species before we learn more than like 10% of what we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Before we tap into that 30% mark in our fucking curvy brains.
Yeah, right. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, and then like brain synapses, like we had talked about in the last episode, of like brain synapses like being created all the time. You're creating different neural links, and it's just
But dude, that was something that's kind of fucking with me, and you might probably have better insight into it, or at least like kept up with how that's progressed or how that research has gone. But like I'm seeing more and more now. It could just be a trend thing, but like the one thing that kind of piqued my interest is like they're talking about like specific types of mushrooms and mushroom blends are like helping with like your connectivity and like your brain and like information transfer and everything, and like helping reform some of the bonds that are there, and not like I've heard of like psilocybin helping with that and stuff like that, but like it's like helping with reconnecting some of
Yeah,
those things from
so
like trauma or damage or any of that. But
yeah, so funny enough that you bring that up because I've been super into the mushroom fungi world
yeah,
lately, like the last
the
couple months.
fungies.
So I personally I take lion's mane mushroom and cordyceps mushroom every
Mm.
day. And so the lion's mane is
Taking one now.
what?
Taking this fucking cordyceps.
I know. And we'll get onto that part too, which I'll explain in a little. So actually, I'll explain it first. So lion's mane, is it's pretty easily lab grown for the most part.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a big
Tough.
furry ball almost. I don't
Yeah.
know how to best describe it. Right?
Checks out
Cordyceps.
from the name.
Some of you might know. Some of you might not know. They call it the zombie mushroom almost. And that is because naturally it derives from spores going into insects and then growing out of said insects, and they basically take over their motor functions and everything. And that's how they're most of the time, that's how they're naturally grown. So yeah, what's the name? Last of Us is, I believe that's the cordyceps mushroom that they say. Yeah. There has yet to be a link between cordyceps spores being able to take over the human
Just
brain.
let the temperature rise
But
a couple
who
more
knows?
degrees, man.
But who knows, right? So, but yeah. So I take lion's mane and cordyceps. Lion's mane is on the line that you were kind of saying, where it's been shown in studies to help with dementia and Alzheimer's, with basically like helping combat them. And for people who don't have, like, people who, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's preventative, right? So it could be they're seeing it could be a preventative measure for Alzheimer's and stuff like that. Cordyceps is more, and I might fuck this up, but I believe it's more so for oxygenation of the blood cells. Like, so it actually, a lot of like sports people use it because it kind of allows you to not get exhausted as quickly. I know the first time that I ever took it, and I was, working out pretty regularly, I felt like I had never breathed as good as I was breathing in that much.
Really?
I had never felt so much like oxygen in my life. It's
So
almost
like
it's kind it was similar to like runner's high, I guess, is what you would like push it mostly close to. But yeah, that's, so one's for the brain, the other one's more so for just oxygenate. But they're good for the brain. From what they've seen, the studies are still new. It is still like a fairly new, unless you go back to like tribal days, it's newly researched, I should say. Not newly used. It's been used since forever. These mushrooms have been found to be used forever, right? But the research behind them and what they're doing is still relatively new. But the lion's mane is a good one. Like I said, I take that one daily. I have the emulsified lion's mane, which is a really cool concept. But it's basically like a liquid dropper. That goes through this crazy process in order for them to do. It's kind of cool how they do it. But I do that. And then the cordyceps are actually, I get the dried cordyceps mushroom and I turn them into a tea. So I just put them into water, like boiling water for like 15 minutes. And then you drink it and then you eat the mushrooms. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and then there's the psilocybin ones, which those ones have been seen to help with, PTSD and everything like that. So, again, it's that whole thing of like, we don't understand our connection with certain aspects of ourselves, let alone with other things in the world, So it's crazy to see what the next, 100 years bring, Oh, my God. What more if we don't kill ourselves off, what more are we going to learn about ourselves,
I'm just hoping that they'll find some new fucking fungus and I can live forever and see the universe explode. That's the end game.
All right. So I'll talk about that. Let's rope into that part. So I think that you are probably the only person that I know that has the exact same belief as me. that if you were, because most people see immortality as like a burden and like a curse. For me, I would love to watch the universe end. I think that
Dude.
would be the coolest fucking thing to ever occur. That would be amazing. So for me, I have always been like, when you get asked that question, like, would you rather be immortal or whatever? Always immortality. All 100% over.
Oh my god,
like,
dude, like,
and people always say like, oh, go ahead, no, go ahead.
No, I was saying, like, I just had this conversation not that long ago about like, because obviously, like, mortality is a big thing, and like we've had a couple of passings and stuff over the last couple of months, and one of the rationalizations, because you try and find comfort in a lot of different ways, especially when you're grieving, and the individual that I was talking to was talking about how it was a blessing for their family member to have passed, because now they're reconnected with other friends and family that have been gone because they outlived all of their friends and shit. And like in my brain, it immediately correlates it to a conversation that was had with my grandmother before she passed, where jokingly it was said that like, oh no, like, yeah, you outlived all your friends and family, you won. Like you won. Like you outlived everybody.
You're the winner.
But then like that concept kind of like twisted in my brain of like, okay, I've dealt with grief, I've dealt with mortality and understanding and respecting death as active as it is in this existence as life is. You can't have one without the other. There's a synergy between the two, and it's been depicted over generations and time as different forms and different energies and stuff. But the reality is like, as living creatures on this planet, there's life as in death. Like you can't escape it, right? So the concept of being immortal is fantastic. It's tantalizing, all these things. And then the counter argument has always come up when you've talked about like those, like, oh, like, what would your superpower be? Or like, would you live forever? Would you do it? And my answer has always been, fuck yeah, absolutely. And the rationalization behind it is because I deal with grief and loss really well. Like I understand, I have a respect for that ebb and flow. So like, just because it doesn't fuck me up and cripple me, there'll be individuals, that if they pass, I'm going to miss exponentially.
Of course, yep.
But in the larger scheme of things, with us being, not to sound nihilistic, but like, we're a speck of dust. Like we are nothing in comparison to the larger arcing
giant ball
existence
flying through the sky.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, like we're as far as like impact goes in the larger scheme of things, we are nothing. We can enjoy ourselves. We can have fantastic lives and strive to do that for ourselves. But to think that we're like the center of the universe, no, you're the center of your universe.
Yeah, and
as everything else around you spins, and like you make nothing, you impact nothing, right?
Yep.
So, but the rationalization of my brain was like, you know what? Like the feeling that I feel in my chest, right? Because I love and I connect with people and I feel for things, and I'm, especially nowadays, like with therapy and everything, like I've become a lot more in touch with my emotions and like being able to allow myself to feel things and to try and do that, when I'm allowed to, or allow myself to. And one of the things that I realized was that feeling that I feel in my chest when I've had people pass away that meant something to me, I can handle it because I understand and respect it. And I think that I'd be able to do that for a long time. Whereas I would hate to put that weight on someone else.
Right.
Like I would hate for someone to feel that way about me. So like,
exactly.
In that,
everyone
that
gets to enjoy me with them for their entire existence. It's like a dog. You never want your dog to have to go through its owner dying. You are its world, right? Like
we've seen those videos of like the dogs going back and sitting by those benches for the rest of their life. Not
to compare my loved ones to a dog, but like,
but even so, like I would like, if there's an afterlife, man, I'd be looking down or up for this little motherfucker and be like, I'm sorry. Like I should have done better.
We're done.
For you, what have I done? But here's like the concept, man.
Here's my aspect too. So it's and it's along the same lines of what you're saying, but so it's like, that's the biggest sticking point, right? Is people having to watch their loved ones pass and like knowing that you will forever be here and you'll just have to see that happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. I've done it, more times than I would care to have already with people that I was very close with, and it fucking sucks. It's awful. But here's the thing. I have an eternity to deal with my grief.
Yep.
And it's not, like, my grief will not last forever.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, at some point, you eventually become okay with that loved one passing, right? It's, it may be a very long time, but it won't be eternity.
Yeah.
Like, eventually, you're gonna get over the fact that they've passed. You're gonna come to terms with it, and you're gonna continue to live your life. And at the end of the day, I get to watch the universe end, which is fucking cool. Or at least the world end. I don't know how far we want to go into the, like, your immortality. Like, if you get destroyed to the very atom, do you come back like Deadpool? Like, what's the stipulation here? Do I get to watch the universe end, or is it just the world end? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, as long as you find that the perfect little fucking rock to stand on while the world explodes, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Well, yeah.
I would just love to watch. I want to watch the universe end. I don't give a fuck about the Earth.
Yeah.
I want to watch the universe end.
Dude, like the sun explode. Like watch the sun go supernova from a cozy lawn chair on top of like a really high mountain peak in Hawaii. I think that'd be fucking pretty sick. Like sitting above the clouds as you watch the fucking the sun explode. I think that'd be pretty sick.
That would also be kind of a fucked up time to be around other people, though, knowing they all know they're not immortal, and they're just like, this is my demise, and you're just like, all right, see you guys in the next one. I'm getting launched somewhere into space on this fucking
rotation. Oh man, and like, I think that'd be an incredibly challenging process too. Like, especially looking at it like currently as I'm going through this shit right now, of like kind of reconstructing like foundational level Drake, like to be faced with the ultimate ego thumper of being like, I can live forever. Like, you catch me dropping off your shit, you catch me fucking running rampant. Well, I think that'd be an interesting test.
It could be a villain arc creation. If you don't be careful with it, you could very easily create a villain arc out of immortality. Like, my ego is kind of in the way, knowing that I can't die because I'm about to go. Michael Jordan, and I believe I can fly off a building. You know, I'm about to do just wild shit.
Yeah, and then oh man, what you could do to fuck with people.
Oh God, my God, it'd be so messed up. It'd be so messed up.
I'd be the second coming. I think that's where I'd start. I'd start with the second coming.
Drake's initial thought, instant immortality. Drake goes, I'm gonna be Christ now.
Listen,
guys, I'm now
the
religious leader.
They show up looking like this, be like, guys, I've been watching what we've been doing for a while. This isn't what we talked about.
Yes, this isn't right. Hey, but you know what? On that same token, though, you could do that and then use that for your power and be like, use that power for good and be like, hey, I'm the second coming. Y'all are fucked up.
Oh, that's definitely.
If you want to make it through to the next phase of life, you need to listen to what I'm about to tell you.
Oh yeah.
If the wars don't stop, I'm gonna stop it.
Dude, like that, dude. I'd play my part as the God Emperor. I would move humanity into the right direction to send us into the next fucking level, because we're fucking this planet up. We need to start really paying attention to what we're doing.
Start fresh.
Yeah. Without glassing it first and then having to wait for that to happen. I will tell you though, if it came to the
glassing scenario, I'm going to be the baddest motherfucker, and I'm just going to stand where one of the new... I think, the nuke's going to land about here. I'm going to go right there, and I'm going to live stream. I'm videotaping myself doing
GoPro.
It. And then when I come back, there's no question as to my immortality when I come back. Although, do you want people to know that you're immortal too? And then that's a whole nother thing of like...
Yeah.
It might be a little...
Because then they try and like Area
government
51,
experiment.
Yeah. Try and stop me from walking out.
Yeah. I will blow this place up. What are you going to do?
Yeah, that's pretty
anyways,
shit, man.
Now that we've gone off the rails with that time, we started with genome mapping and ended with fucking being immortal gods. You have the wonderful Shame Chair of the Week.
Shame Chair. Yes,
all right, buddy, let's hear it.
A fantastic Shame Chair nominee today. I do not have her name. I don't have any real intel.
Is this our inaugural woman on the shame chair?
I would say so. I wish I had more
Sick.
information. Not that I want to publicly out somebody, but I feel like that'd be a pretty. This is probably deserving as far as like common sense, that kind of thing. Let alone putting other people in jeopardy. So today, had a little adventure. Went out, got some ice cream. A little flavor swirl that I haven't had for like 10 fucking years. Sent a picture to my sister, like, you fucking bitch. Like, look what I found. So she's not a bitch. She's my best friend, but we haven't had it for a long time. So no, it's just like one of those things that like, dude, I found it. Like, there's a place that sells the flavored swirl ice cream, like the blue goo and like sour apple and shit. So it's like, I'm super stoked about it. The nostalgia, I actually cried. It was a really cool experience.
Is it in Beloit? South
It
Beloit?
is in Beloit. Yeah. So we had to trek a little bit, but we fucking went and got
I know exactly.
I had no idea.
That place has been there forever, dude.
I never had this. My first time going there, so like it was
my
fucking.
God.
Well, I'm used to the Husin down here.
Dairy
like
house?
I didn't even. Yeah.
It's
so
the Dairy Ripple, right? That's what you're talking about. Dairy
the
Ripple?
hairy nipple. Yeah.
Hairy nipple.
So
Dude, that thing's been there for so. That thing's older than us. How do you not know that place is there?
I knew it was there, but like I never went there. And like the last time I had the flavor swirl ice cream was fucking when I was like 13. But yeah, so we out there had this fantastic fucking little snack out in the beautiful sun. The pup was having a good time. He was hanging out here while we were out, and like we stopped because we gotta get gas. So we pop over to the fucking gas station. We pop out. We're shooting the shit while we're filling up this tank. And the person that I'm nominating is the woman who worked in that fucking gas station that not only proceeded to step out for a break, which is fine. You got to take a minute. I'm a smoker.
Nice little smoke
I get
break,
it.
yep.
You got to take a second. But then with lit cigarette in her mouth, decided right now, as somebody is pumping gasoline into their vehicle, is the perfect time to walk around and check receipt paper in these fucking machines with a lit cigarette in her fucking mouth. Bitch, what? What do you mean? What? You fucking have a lit cigarette in your goddamn mouth.
Hey, before you continue your shame chair, you know that it was disproven that cigarettes can ignite gas fires, right?
I don't give a fuck, dude.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally fucking with you.
In my brain,
I'm totally fucking with you.
Like, I've like, and I was wearing sunglasses, dude, and like, I have never had more, when you look at someone and you have that like thought, or like you look at someone in the back of their head and you almost like hope that they can feel
just
you,
get what
like
you're
just
saying.
projecting, right? Like you're just projecting so much specific type of energy towards this person that it's like, I need you to feel me right now, like feel the energy that I'm putting in you.
I didn't like how that one sounded there, but I need you to feel me right now.
Right, but like everything that was floating around in my brain during that moment where I'm watching this grown ass woman with a lit fucking cigarette walk up to a freshly pumped fucking like gas line, right? In her mouth, talking to the other fucking person at the front door that she stepped out with, and then disassembling the machine and pulling the fucking receipt paper out to check how much was in there, while the shit's like bouncing on her fucking lip. Like, we're 3 feet away from her on the adjacent pump, and this like fueling our vehicle, and the malice that I had laser beaming from my fucking eyes towards this woman. I'm like, I'm gonna strike a stranger, and I'm
gonna fucking strike a stranger right now.
I was so fucking furious, dude, and like the person I was with, man, she's like, "You're okay, like it's fine." I was like, I bit it, dude. I sucked it down, and I was like, I am filled with like, and I'm good about that shit, man.
So much rage right now.
The hatred that like boiled up from like the lowest part of my heart that I've like stuffed down over the years, like it just floated to the surface like fat skim, and it just like I lost my mind internally. There was like a battle going on in my brain of like, do I just walk and take the fucking cigarette out of her mouth and like flick it away? Like how can I make a good enough statement to this woman? But being a pussy, I didn't say shit. She finished her fucking rounds. We got in our car. There was no explosion, so we lived through the experience. However, woman at that fucking gas station, you are my nominee for the fucking shame chair because you're a fucking idiot.
Shame chair. You deserve it. You fucking deserve it, lady. And I hope you see this podcast, and I hope you really take a hard look your life choices and know that you didn't just put yourself in jeopardy. You put people who wanted some gooey ice cream in jeopardy. That's all they wanted.
Had a
Enjoy their
great
day,
day.
go home to their dog, and just fucking enjoy their goo ice cream. And you almost fucked it. You almost fucked it, lady.
Almost
just know
fucked it up.
that's your fault. That is your fault. So you get shame chair. You deserve it. Fuck you.
Like I just question now, like, does she remember to breathe or is it on manual? Like that.
Oh,
that's how fucking.
It's manual. Definitely.
Like,
that's a mouth breather if I've ever heard of one.
Fucking. Oh man.
Love it.
Yeah. So that's my shame chair. That's the most eventful thing that I've had this week. With some fucking.
That was a good shame chair. It's a good one. That's probably one of the better ones we've had. You know, it's a very deserved shame chair for sure.
And it breaks up the pattern that we've had so far of like leaning into.
Exactly.
World
the things
events
that we've leaned into. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if you have nothing else to add for this week's episode, I think we did pretty good on this one. I do have more stuff I want to talk about on the next episode that kind of plays into the back end of what we talked about on this episode. So don't forget to, like and subscribe so that you know when the next episode is going to be coming out. Hit it, don't quit it, hit it past your friends. Don't hide your kids, don't hide your wives, because we're out here. We're making great content. We're not smoking cigarettes at a gas pump. If you want to support the show, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/WWLTW podcast. If you're broke, rich, you can't afford it, that's okay. Just subscribe. Maybe leave a little comment. We'll take that, you know? If you subscribe, you're here on the totem pole. If you subscribe and comment, you're here on the totem pole. And if you Patreon and subscribe and comment, you're fucking top of the totem pole. We love you. But we do love all of you, except for the unsubscribed ones that are watching. That you need to subscribe now. Do it, or you're going to be shame-shared. So do it.
Sort the fuck out.
You want to be shame-shared with a woman who smokes cigarettes near a gas pump? No, you don't.
That worked at the gas station? The fuck? I feel like there was a safety brief somewhere about the dude. I'm... Fuck!
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of What We Learned This Week. And we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.